and welcome to Culture here on I-24 News. I'm Edward Grober, happy to be here. Today on our program, we'll talk about Photoshop on the occasion of its 25th anniversary. We'll revisit the story of Israeli Star Ofra Haza. And we'll hear about Edward Snowden on film. We begin with Photoshop, the photo editing software that recently turned 25 years old. Far from being just another digital tool, Photoshop revolutionized, for better and for worse, the way we approach images, from claims of creating unachievable beauty standards to doubting the truth of photography. With me in the studio to discuss Photoshop's impact is Dr. Avi Rosen, a digital artist and early adapter of the software. Thanks for coming in, Avi.
Thank you for inviting me.
So let's start in the beginning. How did Photoshop come to be?
Well, Photoshop is actually an imitation of artist toolbox on his contents with palettes, colors, brushes, pencils, and artistic studio, all on our desktop.
Right, our virtual desktop.
Virtual. Okay.
It started by two brothers, am I right?
Yes, it's started as a private venture, but later they found that it has a potential, so they took a vacation of their PhD study and developed this software, the Photoshop.
Right. Later sold it to Adobe, who made it into what it is today.
Yeah,
now, you started with Photoshop very early. I started with version 3. I thought I was early myself, but you went even further back.
Yeah, I started with Commodore Amiga 1000 with Photoshop-like software, which was Deluxe Paint. And at that time, the PC has very limited graphical potential, so it was a CGA monitor, yes, yeah. And the software was a basic software.
So those were the days.
Yeah, and when
I actually don't miss it at all, I have to say.
Yes, and when the Photoshop became available, it was a wonderful tool.
What drew you to it? What did you use it for?
It's easy of use. It's straightforward. You don't have to study in art academy. You just plug and play it, and you can achieve wonderful artistic achievements.
Is that what you think made it such a popular tool later?
I believe so. The ease of use by every sector, not just artistic one or graphic. Every person can use it and can
to different levels,
yes,
to different
effects. Can perform and produce graphic output, which is in high level.
Right. Now, you know, nowadays people look at the time before Photoshop or in its early days and have this nostalgic feel about the pictures that were untouched, that you could look at the picture and just, you know, believe what you see. Can you make this distinction between untouched photography and what we have today?
In my eyes, there is no distinction, because even the original photography, which was made by the traditional camera and film, and then was processed with the chemicals, it's kind of mechanical Photoshop. There is a difference between the reality and the output of the photography, which is not the same.
Right. There were many other ways, even before Photoshop, you're saying, to
yes,
retouch, either by hand, retouching the picture itself?
I found a photo of my grandmother from the beginning of the previous century, and it was heavily retouched.
Right.
It was the photographer tried to convert his photograph to high art. So he added pencil strokes, color stains, and added some gadgets to make it more beautiful or artistic.
Right. You know, if we're talking about the art of photography, do you think that Photoshop helped establish photography as an art form, or is it undermining it?
Well, in my eyes, it helped very much because it converts every user, every owner of a cell phone or smartphone to art producer. So we are swept by a tsunami of images.
Yeah.
It's our reality. That's how we
that's how we communicate now.
How we communicate, it's a mutual language.
Yeah. Right.
So the formula that art equals life and everybody is artist, which
Photoshop certainly helps
Andy
that.
Warhol claimed it. It's what happens here when we use Photoshop and digital gadgets.
Right. Right. Now, there's a lot of talk about what it did to beauty standards. Now, you talked about your grandmother being retouched in the previous century, but it took it to another level, didn't it?
It's another level. It's another vision of beauty. Along the art history, artists or art creators dealt with the concept of beauty, and they changed the reality according to this concept. So the Photoshop is a contemporary way to cope the reality with the standards of,
so it's
beauty.
It's just another tool. It's not really the reason behind how we view beauty.
You can say it's a reason because if everything is digital now, there are no analog broadcast, or and we think of Marshall McLuhan words of the message.
The medium is message, right?
The medium is the message. So if everything is digital and everything is photoshopped, so our reality is digital and photoshopped. So there's no another way of looking at it.
Yeah, there's no distinction anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a fascinating topic, and I think we're far from finishing with it. We'll be talking about it in 25 years again. Avi, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Now, it's been 15 years since the death of award-winning singer, actress, and international recording artist Ofra Haza. She passed away at the age of 42 due to a mysterious AIDS-related illness, but her fans continue to keep her flame alive. Daniel Campos has more.
The day Ofra Haza died, thousands attended her funeral in the Yarkon cemetery of Petah Tikva. Elite and working-class multitudes gathered to pay their condolences. Ofra was a Jew whose family came from Yemen. She rose from poverty to stardom through her innate talent and exotic beauty. Today, she continues to inspire her fans 15 years after her death.
I try to honor her in every way possible. Throughout the years, I collected everything. It's important for young people and old to remember her.
Russian-born Haya, who currently manages Ofra's fans club Facebook page, owes a lot of her identity to Ofra.
Ofra has always been a person respecting tradition and respecting her roots, and really much talking about it all over the world. Like in each concert that she had, maybe in the US or in Japan or in Germany or in Russia, she always talked about her Jewish heritage.
Today, Haya pays back the favor by working hard to preserve her memory alive.
Here's a legacy, here's something worth of remembering, worth of listening to.
February the 23rd is an important day to visit the landmarks of the singer's life, such as her childhood home in Boaz 39, today considered patrimony. For some residents in the neighborhood, memories of Ofra's presence remain alive.
I remember the day Ofra Haza got married in the neighborhood. She arrived on a white horse and the entire street closed down for the wedding.
Ofra's popularity began in the 1970s with the Hatikva Neighborhood Workshop Theater under the wing of her manager, Betzalel Aloni. Her major international career would kick off with her 1983 Eurovision performance. Thanks to her album Songs of Yemen, released in 1984 on UK's Globestyle Records. In 1998, Ofra also had her taste of Hollywood when she voiced Yocheved, the Prince of Egypt, and also sang Deliver Us, composed by Hans Zimmer. On this year's memorial, Ofra's brother, Yair, has good news for her fans.
We want to produce an album with songs that she never released, which she recorded in her last year of life. It's her musical inheritance.
In a moment, we'll check on perhaps the biggest whistleblower of all time, but first, our cultural recommendation for the day.
The iconic photography of Robert Capa is showcased in Tel Aviv. A selection of photographs of the one called Best War Photographer in the World is presented at the Tel Aviv Museum of Art. Photos taken in Israel of new immigrants in transit to Tiberias in 1949 and this family walking on the Tel Aviv beachfront a year earlier are exhibited alongside historic pictures from Omaha Beach in 1944 and Nuremberg City in ruins in 1945. A Jew from Budapest, born Andrei Friedman, Capa has traveled the world throughout his career and captured many iconic photos of the 20th century. In 1947, he co-founded the Magnum photo agency with Henri Cartier-Bresson, David Seymour, George Roger, and William Vandevert. He died on May 25, 1954, after stepping on a landmine in Indochina. Robert Capa, Photographer of Life, is at the Tel Aviv Museum of Art until August 22nd.
No Photoshop there either. And now Shachar Peled is back with her segment, OffScreen. Hey, Shachar.
Hi, Oded. I'm back, and Edward Snowden is back as well. He just is the story that keeps giving.
Yeah, it's been a while since we talked about him.
It's been a while, and he's definitely back from his hiding place in Russia. He continues to create a sensation, and now his profile rose, of course, with this week's success of Citizen 4, the documentary that won the Academy Awards Best Documentary of the Year.
After winning the BAFTA as well.
Of course, yeah, it was a roll of successes,
right.
And it was a given win. And director Laura Poitras, who we can see now, she stood on stage and thanked the exiled whistleblower to great applause, we must say. She said the disclosures of Edward Snowden don't only expose a threat to our privacy, but to our democracy itself. And
she said it a lot slower. She was very
very emotional. And beside her,
right.
we could see Lindsay Mills, Snowden's girlfriend, accepting the award on his behalf. And so it's only natural that a live action feature film will be in its production stages. And right now in Germany, we know that principal photography about a drama on the NSA whistleblower is on its way. And it's also known that three-time Academy Award filmmaker, Academy Award winning filmmaker, Oliver Stone is directing the feature.
I was about to ask what point of view will this take?
So
but
it's a given.
I mean, I can guess.
Director of Platoon, JFK, Natural Born Killers, and he's Natural Born director for this one. He's a very vocal supporter of...
It's not going to be Edward Snowden, the traitor.
No, I don't think it is. Edward Snowden for treason. No, I don't think so. He's an avid supporter of Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning. He visited Assange in the Ecuadorian embassy, and he wrote numerous op-eds in the New York Times and signed petitions for his release. release. He's in favor of Chelsea Manning, and so he's very vocal on these issues of whistleblowing and freedom of speech. And now we know that Nicolas Cage, the actor, has joined Oliver Stone in this production.
Not as Edward Snowden.
No. He will be joining as a U.S. intelligence officer. And it's very interesting you mentioned that, because other than the fact that he's joining a very prestigious and impressive team, Joseph Gordon-Levitt will portray the title role. And we also know Tom Wilkinson is there. Shailene Woodley would portray Snowden's girlfriend. It's an impressive cast. And what's interesting about Cage joining is that this is one of the very rare times he's joining as a supporting actor. I think other than Kick-Ass in past years, we haven't seen him in a supporting role from the very early stages of his career. And the fact that Cage is willing to step aside and be a supporting actor here in addition to all these very supportive actors and Hollywood choosing it, it means something about Hollywood and whistleblowers, at least.
Yeah, they definitely support it. Thanks so much, Jaffa.
Thank you.
We are done for today. I hope you enjoyed our show. Thanks for watching, and please join us again tomorrow.